Oh, we're just here for the thumbnail.
Leap years are weird because they put me in this temporal no man's land in my own personal history, and I didn't realize that until today, but we're back in the time warp of daily vlogging, and I have been in France for 7 years today. I haven't been in France for 7 years today. I'll explain. We gotta finish running. There are some things you get used to, like weighing your own fruit, and there are some things you might never, like the total lack of hot sauces.
I brought notes. I've been thinking about this because I've been here for 7 years. Well, here's where it gets weird, right? I left the United States on February 28th, 2017, and I landed March 1st, 2017. So technically, I left yesterday and arrived tomorrow. For you watching this tomorrow, it's the day that I arrived, but for me right now, as I'm filming this, I'm living in a weird temporal middle ground that shouldn't exist, but it does every 4 years, and it's called a leap year. And I'm sorry if you were born on a leap year. I'm seeing how complicated that could get. Anyways, daily vlogging and leap year time warps aside, I've been thinking about what is it like to live in Paris, in France, but in Paris specifically, for 7 years. And at first I thought this might actually be kind of challenging because I feel like I've gotten used to living here. Like in so many ways, life here is just life for me. Like I've been here for a long time now and I've gotten into the flow. That's not entirely true. There are some things that I don't think I will ever get used to. So today I thought I'd kind of dive into a little bit of what I've gotten used to, what I don't think I'll ever get used to, and then a little bit of a flash list of things that I miss about the States and things that I would miss if I were to ever leave Paris. Starting with public transportation. Having a car-free lifestyle, but I've definitely never gotten used to the vacations situation here. Like vacations are happening all the time, and even though I have gotten somewhat used to things being closed in August and just randomly closed for holidays I didn't know existed until the day that I tried to do something I couldn't do because of the holiday in question. The work style here is definitely something that I haven't gotten used to. Antoine put this really well the other day from Les Frenchies, that the French, a while back, exchanged their entrepreneurial spirit for safety. There's a real sense of fighting uncertainty here by conforming, by just sticking with, like, you've got school, you've got a career ahead of you, you have to make career decisions very early in life, and then you stick to it. And in France, one of the things I definitely will never get used to is the culture that once you're in a career path, you're in that career path. Like your education puts you straight on a path, and there's not a lot of lateral movement. Like if you'd like to change jobs along the way, if you think you'd like to change careers and do something related but different or completely different and bring whatever skills you've developed here to there, good luck. That kind of rigidity is something that I actually do struggle with living here quite a bit. And it's something that comes up not super frequently, but as an independent, another thing that I don't think I'll ever get used to is like that sacrifice of entrepreneurial spirit means that I don't fit within the system here. So I'm always running into random problems and small issues, and I'm gonna run into more problems. Like when I wanna go find an apartment, let's say, and I'm looking to rent or buy. Renting a place or getting a loan is going to be really difficult without a contract. Like they want to see you have what's called a CDI or a permanent contract. They want to see how much money you're making and then judge by that how much you can afford to spend on rent. And the nice thing is once you have one of these permanent contracts, they're very permanent. It's almost like getting married. Firing someone in this country is also very, very difficult. And there are benefits to that. I'm not saying that there aren't. But if you fall outside the system, like I do, I don't have a contract. I just look like one big giant risk to the average French landlord, just to most French institutions, to be honest. And that's something that has taken a lot of getting used to. I think I'm actually more used to it in my daily life, like I expect it. I kind of know how to handle it in a lot of circumstances, but it has provided and will continue to provide frustrations in the future, I'm sure. As for the infamous administration and bureaucracy, however, like, that's something that if you're looking to live in France or you just got here and you're thinking, oh, like what will it be like in 7 years? It gets better. For one, I mean, it never gets better in the sense that like it's always gonna be here, but for one, your expectations shift and it is absolutely a rite of passage. If you wanna live here, you just have to learn how to navigate these things. It frustrates the French just like it frustrates us. Nobody's happy with the system. It's also not going to change, so learning how to navigate that is just kind of a leveling up you have to do to live here and to enjoy living here. You can struggle and you can fight it as much as you want, but short of a revolution, I don't think it's going to be changing anytime soon. That said, a lot of it does get easier because like whether it's with your bank or the prefecture, like renewing your visa, the longer you've been here, the easier they tend to be on you. So I've seen this in both cases. Like when I renewed my visa the last time, they'd seen that I'd been through a number of visas. I've been here for a while. I'm obviously staying I forgot my passport and my titre séjour the last time I came, right? The titre séjour being the residency card I had to update. And they just like laughed and were like, don't worry about it, and gave me my new one. Years before, I would have been whipped with like a cat of nine tails had I been in that situation. So like it evolves over time. The longer you're here, the more they see you're paying your dues, the more they accept you. The better your French is, also, the more they'll accept you in time. They'll never completely accept me, I don't think. We can talk about that in a minute. But like, the bank is the same thing. Having a bank account in France is still a very relational thing. And once you have a bank account for 3 to 5 years, they look at you completely differently than they do when you first open it. They see you as somebody that they've built a relationship with, and they're more likely to go out of their way to help you. Whereas when I first got here, they couldn't be asked to help me. So these are things that evolve over time. The bank account is impossible to get, but later on becomes indispensable. And the visa process steadily gets easier as your visas get longer, and then hopefully, eventually, if you want it, you go for citizenship. Which, update on that for those of you that have been wondering, I'm waiting. I'm in the waiting spell. We won't know. We won't know until the summer at the earliest, so I will keep you posted. The last thing that I think is a major challenge that I have gotten used to in a sense, but I don't think I'll ever really get used to, is socializing in France is, I think, harder. It's different. I think anywhere in the world as an adult, it's hard to socialize. We see this kind of across the board with the loneliness epidemic right now, right? Like, people are suffering from loneliness in a way that we never have before. Social media is driving us farther apart. There's a whole lot of reasons for this. So I'm not saying that it's not lonely everywhere, but I will say that the French don't know how to do small talk. It's not that they don't want to, it's just that culturally people really respect each other's privacy. If you go to a bar, you're gonna end up with your friends. It's not set up to mingle. Like in the States, a lot of bars are set up with a lot of space to mingle, right? Like you've got space to meet people. And if you're an American, at least we're somewhat outgoing. Even if you're not, I think half the time you end up turning to the people at the table next to you or in the space next to you just to strike up a conversation. It's just you might have an observation you want to share or a question, and conversations just kind of happen no matter where you are. In France, that's weird. Like, people look at you very suspiciously if you do that, unless they can tell very clearly that you are not from here. And even then, it doesn't mean that they're going to totally open up to you. So socializing, and then by extension, dating, making friends, all those things is a level more complicated because the French, as I've said multiple times recently, the French make friends in school, at college, and at work. And after that, like, it seems like they're fairly done. That might be more universally true than I give credit, but in France, it's also a thing where they don't mingle those groups, right? Once they have their groups of friends, they don't commingle. If you're here and you're struggling to make friends, I think the biggest encouragement I can give you is put in a good 6 months worth of work. Like, if you want French friends, the startup fee for French friendship is 6 months. You're just gonna have to show up, you're gonna have to be generous, you're gonna have to give of yourself as much as you can, remind them you exist, get yourself invited to things, and steadily, it can and I think it will happen, but it's not easy. I have gotten totally used to the smoking. I don't smoke, so as a non-smoker, I have actually gotten very used to cigarette smoke being everywhere. Like, I don't have any problem with it. It generally really doesn't bother me. Occasionally people can be rude with it, but it's just the aroma of the terrace in France, and I don't mind it that much anymore. And thanks to today's patron producer, Jodee, Boehm, and all my patrons for keeping me, like, honestly, you've been a huge part of my 7 years in Paris. It would be very different if it wasn't for you here. I do drink though. Okay, so here's your lightning round of things I miss from the States and things I would miss if I left. One of the things I miss from the States and just Anglophone culture is festive fun, like costume parties, Christmas lights, Halloween. Anybody that says like, oh, we have Christmas lights in Paris has never been to a small town in America. Their Christmas lights here are basically non-existent. However, I would miss French fun if I left, which are like house parties and fête de la musique. The festival scene here sometimes is top-notch. I miss strong flavors, like really salty, spicy food, but if I left France, I would really miss the simple basics, like cheese, wine, bread, the stereotypical things that are genuinely so good here. Like just the simple ingredients that they have here. You can peel off a piece of bread, take a chunk of cheese, grab some charcuterie from somebody, and you have an amazing sandwich just out of like the budget supermarket, like shopping spree. That's really good. I miss proactive customer service from the States, but if I went back to the States, I would miss not having to tip. I do miss pleasant small talk, like making jokes with strangers in line to buy coffee or something like that, but I would very much miss just being left alone. Like, it's very nice to go anywhere, whether you're in a store, just on the street, whatever. Like, people mind their own business here in a way that can feel isolating, but can also feel really liberating. The anonymity of the city. I do miss road tripping a lot, but I would really miss high-speed rail if I left. And obviously public transportation again, I would miss that so much. My list of things that I would miss is actually a lot longer. Like I would miss speaking French all the time. I would miss the cost of living. And someday I would miss healthcare. Like, thankfully I'm very healthy right now, but the cost of healthcare here is much more reasonable. I would miss the lifestyle very much. I would miss my friends. And one of the things that I do miss about the States is a sense of belonging, like I'm from this place. One of the things that I've gained here is a sense of acceptance. Like, I'll never fully belong. The French will never see me as fully French. There are certain cultural norms, there are certain things that I'll never fully fit into here. But at my level of French and at the effort I've put in to being here, to living here, I have earned a form of acceptance that's not universal, but is something that I certainly never really fully felt when I was back in the States. And there you go. 7 years of living here, and maybe another 7 to go. I'll keep you updated. We'll see what else I get used to, and I'm sure I've forgotten a lot of stuff about it. One of the things that I'm very used to here is pedestrians actually having the right of way most of the time. I almost get killed every time I go back to the States because I just step out into the street, so watch out for that.